It all kicked off with a wrong turn on a road none of them could recall taking. The forest closed in around the car, and the sky dimmed even though the sun hadn't fully set yet. Rachel, sitting in the passenger seat, stared nervously at her phone's GPS, the map frozen for miles with that annoying blue dot blinking uselessly. Their phones had no signal, and Mark's gas gauge was dipping closer to empty with every passing minute. Outside, the silence pressed against the windows heavy and unnatural. Even the usual chorus of birds and insects was missing. Kyle leaned forward from the back seat, muttering that they needed to find a gas station soon. Sarah, sitting beside him, whispered that this road felt off, but none of them wanted to voice the same fear out loud. Just as the last streak of sunlight disappeared behind the trees, a sign appeared, leaning crookedly in the weeds. Its wood was rotting, paint peeling, but the words were still clear. "Welcome to Hollow Creek," Rachel frowned. None of them had heard of Hollow Creek before, yet the sign pointed toward a narrow road twisting deeper into the woods. With the fuel gauge nearly on red, Mark turned the wheel without hesitation. The road grew rougher, potholes and cracks jarring the car. The trees leaned inward, their branches clawing at the roof. Rachel peered through the windshield as the first houses appeared, small, sagging wooden homes with shattered windows and broken shutters. Yet in every house a faint orange glow flickered behind the curtains like silent lanterns. The deeper they drove, the more houses appeared, all in ruin but glowing with that same dim light. Rachel pressed her face to the glass, convinced she saw shadows moving past the curtains, watching them as they passed. Her chest tightened. Mark muttered they would just grab gas and go, but when the road opened into a small square, Rachel felt her stomach twist. The square was centered around a cracked fountain, its stone figures worn smooth by time. The car rolled to a stop, and silence crashed down on them. It was too still, too heavy. Rachel whispered maybe they should turn back, but the fuel gauge was flat. Spotting an old gas pump at the far corner of the square, rusted, paint flaking but standing like it was waiting, Mark grinned weakly, claiming it was their lucky break. He climbed out, and Rachel followed reluctantly. The moment she stepped out, the air hit her colder than before, sharp against her skin. Sarah and Kyle got out too, and the four of them stood together in the empty square, surrounded by buildings that looked like they had been there for 100 years. An old diner with a crooked sign, a boarded-up general store, a church with a leaning steeple, every window glowing faintly with that steady orange light. Mark walked to the pump, grabbing the handle, but no fuel came out, no matter how hard he tried. He swore under his breath, hitting the side of the pump. Rachel spun slowly, her nerves screaming. Though the square was empty, she felt eyes on them from the houses, from the cracks in the curtains, from the windows of the crooked church. Her throat tightened. Kyle muttered that this place was wrong, and Sarah begged them to leave, but when they tried, the car wouldn't start. Mark turned the key again and again. The engine coughed and sputtered but refused to catch. Rachel's skin prickled with cold. She looked toward the diner, and her blood froze. The door was slightly ajar. She was sure it had been shut when they first arrived. Sarah pointed, her hand shaking. "Maybe someone could help us," but her voice trembled. Rachel whispered they shouldn't go inside, but Mark was already moving forward, his jaw tight with stubbornness. The others followed, too afraid to be left alone. Inside, the diner smelled of grease and burnt coffee. Menus lay scattered on the tables as if customers had just left. Behind the counter, a pie sat steaming fresh, like it had just come out of the oven. Rachel's heart pounded. Sarah whispered this isn't right, but her words were drowned by the clatter of metal from the kitchen. Mark shouted, "Hello? Is someone here?" But no answer came, only the swinging of the back door. Rachel's breath caught. She swore she saw figures sitting in the booths when the lights flickered, shadows hunched, watching them. But when the light steadied, the booths were empty. Her stomach lurched. They stumbled back outside into a night that felt darker than when they had entered the diner. When Rachel turned to where the car had been, her heart stopped. The car was gone, vanished without a sound, without a trace.